I'll greet you first with Assalamu Alaikum, which is peace and blessings be upon you. This is the traditional greeting of Muslims. Sister Amina, please explain the status of woman in Islam briefly. That's hard. Have you ever tried to explain total, absolute equality briefly? I will explain what it says in one ayat of the Quran. Oops. I'm blind if I try to read without glasses, excuse me. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. O mankind, reverence your guardian Lord, who created you from a single person, created of like nature his mate, and from twain scattered like seeds countless men and women. Reverence God, through whom you demand your mutual rights, and reverence the wombs that bore you, for God ever watches over you. In this one ayat, it covers many things, and it's telling the man to reverence the woman. Heaven is placed at the feet of the mother. The woman is very important under Islamic law, and she has total and absolute equality with man. First three I were handed asked me to talk about polygamy. So we'll respond to that one first, okay? Yes, I believe in polygamy. But when Reverend Clark was talking about why didn't God give Adam more than one wife, he's making it as if polygamy was a gift for men. Now, any man who has ever tried to keep more than one woman happy at a time can tell you that polygamy is not a gift for men. So polygamy was not granted for the benefit of man. Think about it. How hard is it to keep your wife happy? Multiply that. Multiply mothers-in-laws, fathers-in-laws, brothers-in-laws. It gets complicated. When I say that polygamy becomes a necessity for society, that is because God, Allah, knew always what would be in the future. His knowledge goes beyond ours. We were told that the time would come when the population of women was greater than the population of men. This happens during time of war, but now then it just exists. It's just a fact of nature. There's more women than men. In this country alone, if you took and married every woman to a man, you would have 20 million women without a husband. Now in Islam, it is recognized that a woman has physical needs and desires beyond food and clothing, and they have a right to have them met. However, they can only be met in marriage. Okay, you've got 20 million women who still have these desires and needs and have no husband. They have certain options. They can steal someone else's husband. Doesn't help the odds much. It's just a different woman out there. And maybe this one has children to take care of as well. Or she can go through a life of deprivation. Medical science has shown that a life of deprivation is not psychologically or physically healthy for the woman. She must have her needs met. Or she could turn to another woman, and I realize some people think that that's the best solution. Or we can choose to share our husband under certain rules and guidelines. Those rules and guidelines make it rough on the man. See, the man has to answer before Allah if he's not totally and completely equal between those women. It's hard to be equal between any two human beings, even your own children, let alone wives. And on the day of judgment, he has to answer for any infraction he may make. Okay, my next question says, I have read recently that in some parts of the world, Islam teaches that there is no heaven for women, that they have no souls, while on the other hand, heaven for men is a place where they have beautiful women to serve their every want. Is this true? Sorry, guys. No such luck. Women have souls. Women go to heaven just as much as men go to heaven. Women have beautiful houris also waiting on them taking care of their needs when they get up to heaven as well. So women are not deprived in any way, not even of their souls. Now I'm going to try and share some of what I learned with you. First of all, the word Islam simply means total, complete submission to Allah. Total, complete submission. The knowledge that Allah is all-knowing, most beneficent, most merciful, most loving, sees that which is known and that which is not known. Total, complete submission to Allah. One who has submitted their will to Allah and has declared that they wish to be obedient to Allah is called a Muslim. So I am a Muslim and I follow Islam. We're starting with a little word definition because these words get mixed up a little bit. Another word we need to understand is Allah. Allah is not a different God. Allah means the one God. That's the God who created the universe. The God who created this earth. The God of Adam, of Moses, of Noah, of Jesus, of Muhammad, and of most of us in this room. He needs a helping hand. This is my son Muhammad. He's 7, and he wants to answer one of the questions for you. Okay? It was interesting in the conversation earlier, we're talking about the importance of the woman as the mother. And Muslim women, so many of them choose to stay at home. Choose. We're not forced to stay at home. We can do whatever we want to, but we choose to stay at home and raise our children because we recognize the power that we have in this very special profession. And motherhood is the most dynamic and the most important profession there is in the world. So this is my son, who, if I could, I would spend 24 hours a day trying to encourage him to learn about every aspect of life there is. And he has one question, so he'll answer that. Go ahead. The question is, who do you say Jesus is?
Well, Jesus was a prophet of God. Well,
okay, Jesus was indeed the most special and most favored prophet of Allah. He was the prophet of peace. And we as Muslims do respect him and love him enormously. And then we've got one that's almost a dialogue on its own here. Why do you call God Allah? I explained to you that Allah means the one God. There's no chance of small g's, no mix-up about pluralities or dualities. Allah means the one God. So when I use Allah, I want it made very clear. I believe in one God, I pray to one God, I worship one God, I submit to one God. That's it. That's why I say Allah. Because by its very definition, it prevents any doubt that I believe in more than one God. Why did Muhammad actively persecute Arabian Jews? And did he repent? Well, he couldn't repent because he didn't do it. I'm sorry to disappoint whoever's reading the fantasy of history. Okay? Muhammad did not persecute anyone when he started bringing Islam to the people, to free the children from being buried alive, to keep the women from being treated as if they were property of the man, to be bought and sold and traded and bartered with and abused. When he said the slave had rights and even the animal had rights, he wasn't persecuting anyone, he was trying to free everyone. However, he was persecuted and his followers were persecuted by many different groups of people. Some were idolaters, some were Jews, some were Christians, some were of no belief at all. But we're just afraid of what this man and what he was